Could you write the history of bowling without this tournament? The game's greatest test? An event that has lit up the lanes decade after decade?
Congratulations, gets the title! What a great moment.
Carved out legacy after legacy at the highest peak? Wins here, they're kept alive forever.
This might be the best title of my life!
What about these 5 bowlers? You won't find a Cinderella story here.
Tackett, a Triple Crown winner!
Their names etched in every title, written in every record book.
Yeah, baby!
Today, the sport's most coveted major outdoes itself. 5 heavyweight champions doing what they do best, making history once again. The 2024 PBA US Open starts now on Fox.
And we welcome you inside passionate Royal Pin Woodland just outside of Indianapolis for bowling's toughest test, the US Open, and man is it ever. But it can also yield some incredible results. Match number 1 features the defending champion. Match number 2, a man who's looking for his first US Open. That guy is number 2, and then maybe the best of them all at the moment, Anthony Simonsen as the number 1 seed. Absolutely unreal. Along with Hall of Famer Randy Peterson and Kimberly Pressler, I'm Dave Lamont, partner. I started watching when Chris and Bo were doing it. I've never seen anything like it. Have you?
No, arguably the best lineup ever in the history of the United States Open. 4 past champions. Kyle Troup, runner-up last year. All 5 of these players are major championship winners. All 5 are headed for the Hall of Fame one day. Listen, guys, if you like bowling, if you like sports, there's no place you'd rather be than right here, right now.
Yeah, this is a perfect 5. Bowling fans around the nation are so excited, and here's another reason why. 24 of the last 44 majors, that counts today. 73 in the top 5, 22 top seeds, and only 8 top 5s without one of them. But Randy, if there's a guy with a target on his back, it's going to be this guy, Anthony Simonsen.
Absolutely, they have a 2022 US Open champ. The youngest player ever to capture a major. He did it not once, but 5 times. Here he is winning his 3rd Masters. And what a season he had in 2023. If it wasn't for one guy by the name of B.J. Tackett, he would have won Player of the Year. 3 titles, 1 major, and was never out of the top 10 the entire season.
And he will be the closing act of our show. But you know what? We're going to make him open it, too. He's standing by with Kimberly Pressler.
Thank you. So, Anthony, we just saw a few memorable moments for your young career, but you've been doing so well that even Rolling Stone magazine has taken notice of you, comparing you to Steph Curry. So how have you been able to manage your fast rise to stardom as one of the best bowlers in the world?
You know, I try to keep it simple. It's just bowling. It's another day. Week to week, just try to get a little bit better and just take things how they come.
Well, let's talk a little bit about bowling, because last year you were in this building on these lanes, same pattern, same type of oil. You were 4th in the U.S. Open. Today you're sitting at the number 1 seed. What's different?
You know, I think one of the big differences this week was the 49-foot pattern. I bowled like 160 or 170 pins better, and that was enough to secure the top seed for me. So we were able to just ride that wave through match play.
Well, we will be seeing you in the title match. Good luck today.
Thanks.
And you got to wait a little bit first, because how about this for an opening match? E.J. Tackett, the defending champion, and at home against Bill O'Neill to get things started. The winner to take on Kyle Troup. A spectacular 5. You've got to be here. Don't go anywhere. I promise it's going to be great. The PBA on Fox is sponsored by Bolero, the #1 place to bowl, party, and play, with over 340 locations nationwide. Head to Bolero.com today to find a center near you. And by the United States Bowling Congress. The USBC is working together to build a future for the sport of bowling at all levels. Visit bowl.com today to find out more. The time for talking is done, Randy. Let's get to work here with E.J. Tackett and Bill O'Neill. E.J. has lane choice here in this 4 versus 5 battle. 2 past U.S. Open champions, winners in this building. E.J., this is a home game for him. And it was interesting. We asked Bill, "Hey, got anybody here today?" He goes, "No." But he's okay with that. He feels like it's okay if his family and friends are watching on television. See the 7-pin is toppled at the last second. It was a clean start for Bill.
Beautiful opening shot by the manipulator, Bill O'Neill. He's so good with his hand. He does so many great things at the bottom of the swing and at the release point. He's got great touch.
And interestingly, at an age where some guys are backing off a little bit, he seems to be getting stronger.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he just won another major a month ago.
Speaking of, okay, wow. I was about to say, speaking of strength, here's E.J. Tackett, and he gets a gigantic break to open things up.
Not today, 7-10. Not today.
Hopefully not at all.
Grueling U.S. Open tournament, as always. 56 games, 4 different oil patterns.
Just the physical stress, which I think everybody knows, but it's the mental stress that wears these guys out.
I was just going to say that not only tests your physicality, but it also tests your sanity.
Yeah.
Take a look at E.J. Tackett's arsenal using a Venom Shock, which is what I believed he used last year to win here at Woodland. Same oil pattern, same amount of milliliters, same exact oil.
But a different E.J. Tackett now that he is a father as of December 13th. And so a slightly different person, but it's still an incredible bowler.
Yeah, and he didn't like this one as soon as it left his hand. He knew it was left of target. Looks over at the monitor where the players can actually see strike track, which gives them basically a printout of every shot they throw.
Got to be careful there. You've got to get that 3-6 pocket, and E.J. failed to do so. And the first error of this match is Tackett's. First time he has missed that particular spare this week.
And what was the message in interviewing all 5 players? What did they all say? You cannot afford any errors to win this event.
No. You have to attack. They all talked about playing offense, not defense. So an early break here for Bill. And he knows how to take advantage of it. This is a guy you were talking to him and said, "Bill, you were left for dead in qualifying."
Yeah, I mean, he barely made it through the qualifier and then just started eking his way up the ladder. Had a couple of really nice rounds in match play, but beautiful game here. I love it because it's old school, and then that hand and wrist opening up, keeping that elbow inside, and then the beautiful rotation. Look at that 8-pin.
Well, if we're going to have an historic day, we got to have a classic stylist.
As we take a look at Bill O'Neill's arsenal, Theorem is what he's going with.
And a front 3 is what he's going with as well. So O'Neill making E.J. Tackett pay early for the 3-6-10 mistake for Tackett and putting some pressure right on the shoulders of E.J.
That's just over 4th arrow, and the players are pretty deep, and it's just game 1. It's one of the issues that Bill O'Neill actually brought up. He says, man, if I get too deep too early, if I do climb the ladder, where do I go to? They're just going to run out of lane.
And Tackett, again, his body language immediately showing you that he hated the shot, and he has the same shot he missed on the previous lane. So where's he going wrong?
It looks a little grabby at the bottom of the swing, and when that happens, especially when you have the power of E.J. Tackett, the ball's going to go left.
Your textbook coverage. What are we playing on here?
Well, it's pattern number 4. Remember, 4 oil patterns used throughout this event. This is 41 feet in length, the exact oil pattern that we used last year. And it's interesting that when I asked EJ, hey, how did this year's pattern play versus last year's? He said completely different. When I asked Kyle Troup the same question, Kyle said they played exactly the same.
This sport, you think you know, but you don't know and you never will, as Jim Morrow once said. That's much better. That's an attack the pocket shot for Tackett, 19.2 mph.
And you can see it was a couple boards right of the last 2 that he's thrown, and it feeds perfectly into the pocket, but this looks perfect out of his hand. Pound for pound, probably the strongest strike ball out on the PBA tour from a player that uses his thumb. He's quite an athlete. You should see him hit a golf ball.
I've heard rumors.
Pretty impressive.
And Bill is 4 for 4. He looks like he's in complete control right now. He won this event before in 2010 in this building, which has hosted so many U.S. Opens. Qualified as the number 2 seed and faced Mike Scroggins in the championship match. And Bill went the back 10 to win by 60 pins for his first career major and second career PBA Tour title. And that's the other thing that impresses me, Randy. This is 14 years later and he's still relevant. It's hard to do that.
Very much so.
5 for 5.
Check out these numbers right here. And this is how accurate he is at the arrows. That's 1/10 of an inch. Remember, he talked to us earlier about how keeping his hands soft was key. And what that does, it allows his ball to get through the front part of the lane and then react down lane.
Tackett looking for his 5th major. And he seems to have recovered, but is it too late already?
Anytime you have RPMs over 500, you're really putting some good stuff on a bowling ball. And just south of 20 miles an hour.
See the strike percentages. Tackett 3rd best in the field. Bill top 12. Of course, the other thing that's obvious, but we'll say it anyway, sometimes you win these majors with your spare shooting as much as your power. Wow, he's found it. But the problem is the guy he's bowling against has the front 5 in this opening match in bowling's U.S. Open here at Royal Pin Woodland just outside Indianapolis. It's Billy O. The real deal is so far just that with a front 5. Can he keep it going? We'll see it when we return on Fox. And Bill O'Neill riding the front 5 against that man right there, E.J. Tackett, the reigning PBA Player of the Year, past U.S. Open champion. He had this unbelievable 2023 season, even incredibly better than Anthony Simonsen. It's time for E.J. Tackett in the pocket.
E.J. Tackett, incredible!
2023 was an absolute incredible year. The best year I've ever had on tour to date. So many special things happened. Especially the U.S. Open. I finally got my win in the state of Indiana, which is, a goal I had.
Tackett, a Triple Crown winner!
Winning the Triple Crown, had all my family and friends there. Culmination of so many things, and a lot of emotion came out after that win.
Wow, the Triple Crown!
The World Championships, where Jason and I faced off, and Jason got up in the 10th, threw all 3 strikes.
Big break, Belmonte!
In this moment, it all came together.
Tackett, he's got it!
it will be an event that sticks in my mind for the rest of my career. To have another Player of the Year 7 years later, it's unbelievable. There's very few people that have ever been Player of the Year, and there's an even shorter list that have ever won it twice.
A good look at EJ right there. Deep in thought, no doubt, and wondering how much that second frame is going to cost him. Because right now, Bill O'Neill, now, we've talked about this a million times, the hardest shot in bowling is the one coming out of a long break. Well, Bill O'Neill had not gone front six on this pattern in the tournament until right now.
How about that accuracy? There it is, right over that middle arrow again. And right out of the break, just perfection for Bill O'Neill.
And these are all flush shots, too. There's no cheapies, there's no messengers, there's no anything. This is absolute dead solid perfect so far. He doesn't like it, and he shouldn't.
Yeah, big whip right. And here, look at your numbers now. Position at the arrows was pretty close, but down lane, about 5 right. Let's take a look at his release. And he hated it right out of his hand. He missed it at the bottom.
Oh, wow. That's really going to hurt. You'd think he'd at least get 3 there. But instead, that's going to be a hole. And all of a sudden, he's invited E.J. Tackett back into the match.
That's like 2 open frames in 1 frame.
Yep.
Because it's an open plus he loses count. And with 2 strikes here in the 7th and 8th for Tackett, we have a 1-pin match.
And Tackett, after a poor start, has seemingly found what he needs to do. Yeah, you really want to give that guy another chance? I don't think you do. And Tackett jumping right in.
This is how you can tell when a player really likes it and when he aces a shot. I want you to watch his finishing position right here. Watch this. He knew he aced it. Now one more, he cuts the deficit to 1. How big is that missed spare, the 3-6-10 in the second frame, going to play a part in the outcome as this match nears the end?
He takes a re-rack here. If everybody knows where the pins belong in the center, it's going to be E.J. Tackett. Just a half a hair off.
Well, I thought he grabbed this one a little bit as well, and that caused the ball to check and overhook. The good news is he just left the 4-pin, but it's all O'Neill now. Nothing Tackett can do. O'Neill can still strike out for 257. Max score for E.J. Tackett, 235.
Well, Bill's got to get it back here after a surprising mistake. Oh, a little back trip on the 4. Hello.
Yeah, a little 4-9 trip.
Yeah.
That was the hit E.J. Tackett was looking for. Instead, it goes to O'Neill. And now O'Neill can set up the 10th frame with a strike here in the 9th. And also increase his lead to 22. Right-hander's best break, I think, is that trip 4. See the 9-pin fall late.
What a strange-looking scorecard for Bill. With that 5-1 just sitting there.
Yeah. No spares, just the 5-1 miss.
He hates this one, and it's the same shot. It's the same leave on that lane.
What the hell was that, man?
The left lane was troubled yesterday in the PBA Elite League event, and perhaps it's getting to be a factor in this match.
A couple of different ways to shoot this. You can try to slide the head pin over into the 610, or right side of the head pin, ricochet into the 610. Unbelievable.
How is that possible? 2 times when he does miss it, he misses it the exact same way. And now the ball's in Tackett's court.
Same exact leave, chops the head pin back again. And look at the lead now. Tackett by 6. Well, that one he lofted. So it had a lot of hand in it, but he gave it some airtime, which delayed the hook. Check this out. There's the airtime. Remember, the ball can't hook in the air.
No, now, not even he's that good.
Right? So E.J. Tackett now, remember, he had choice of starting lane, which determines where he finishes. He's going to finish on the left lane.
And on the left lane, he opened, left a 3-6-10, struck, and then 9 spare.
He needs a double and 6 to lock Bill O'Neill. And believe it or not, after everything that's happened to O'Neill, he still has a chance to win. The good news is Bill doesn't have to bowl in the left lane again.
But is his frame going to matter? Now there's one for EJ. What a gorgeous shot under pressure, and he put that one in the air a little bit too.
Yeah, that one was aggressive. That had a little aggression behind it. That was a little nasty.
That was nearly 20 miles an hour. I think that would have been his hardest shot of the day so far.
20 miles an hour with a ton of hand. Look at the revolutions.
One more, and Tackett's in a really good position. Position. Holy smokes. These misses are disasters.
Oops. That's 4 through the middle.
Dang it, EJ.
Well,
oh, EJ.
Count is going to matter here.
It is. That's 8 the hard way. O'Neill needs 2 strikes. But again, Tackett had a chance. Going back to the second frame, if he makes the 3-6-10, he would have moved on.
Yep,
he would have been in the 220s.
You said a few minutes ago that that could be the key frame in the entire match, even with Bill having 2 5-1s, but he is off of that lane. Must strike. All right.
How improbable is this? After 5-1, 5-1, back-to-back shots on the left lane, O'Neill 1 strike away from moving on.
And knocking out the defending champion. Stands up, he hates it, and he's not going to get it. The defending champion survives one of the wilder matches you're ever going to see in any bowling event on television. E.J. Tackett survives by 3 pins over Bill O'Neill. Bill will finish 5th, and E.J. Tackett will take on Kyle Troup in the next match.
What a crazy match.
No way you could see that ending coming. The last 3 or 4 frames were unscriptable. It'll be Troup and Tackett next. Belmo awaits the winner, and then at the very top, of course, Anthony Simonsen. So many majors, so many U.S. Opens, and Kimberly standing by with the defending champion right now.
EJ, you were able to pull through on this one, sitting down over in the chair. Walk us through that match.
A lot of emotion. Got off to a rough start. Bill, I didn't expect any of this from him. He got off to such a hot start there, and had a chance to put me away. He threw a good shot, and that's what the U.S. Open is right there. It's so demanding, and every little thing matters.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Kimberly and EJ, thank you very much. We've got another match coming up. Kyle Troup. He's got a few fans here. He's got his dad here. The legend, Guppy Troup, is in the house.
Guppy's here?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Get that man some camera time right away. What a tremendous, tremendous crowd we've had all weekend long here at the U.S. Open, presented by Go Bowling. Yesterday for the PBA Elite League, and today for this major championship in the sport. We love them here at Royal Pin Woodland. Take a look at our Bowl TV highlights. Let's talk about 17-year-old Landon Jordan. Remember this moment with EJ Tackett? Look at that Mardi Gras style shirt for Landon there. He's 17 years old from Sycamore, Illinois. Won that 2022 PBA junior title at Bolero Euless in Texas. Beat Eric Jones 257 to 225 and finished 15th overall. He beat his age. Absolutely amazing. You take a look at the top 10. Marshall Cannon 9. Andrew Anderson had a solid bowl. There's Landon right there, right after Tom Doherty, who couldn't believe the age difference between the two of them. Sanders the Manders, the lefty from Indiana, in the 19th position. The unsinkable Tom Smallwood, 16th. Graham Fa, a fine tournament. Richie T. Sean Rash, and another youngster in Spencer Robarge. So EJ Tackett survives against Bill O'Neill in a match with unbelievable unpredictability to it. Now the two-hander Kyle Troup is next, looking for his first U.S. Open title to go with a major he already has. A big moment for a man who is very aware of what he needs to continue to fill out what is a sparkling resume. A couple of more practice shots here. Randy, what do you think his strategy is going to be?
Well, I think he's going to play off of where EJ and Bill O'Neill played. He's probably going to get just a little bit left of that, or maybe even mirror where EJ is. It looks like the players broke this oil pattern down to where they can play in. They've created some friction to the right, and they know that as they migrate farther and farther towards the middle part of the lane and farther left, they're going to find a little bit of oil to help feed the ball to the right. That's what I expect he's going to do. I have not yet seen him throw a urethane ball in practice. Everything he's thrown has been reacted, which tells me he's going to be in the inside part of the lane.
Take one last look at Kyle. That's the final practice shot. Sounded good. And there are Kyle Troup fans everywhere. He had a bunch of them in the PBA Elite League yesterday. So last second, maybe quick conversation. Looks like he's got Tim Mack with him. EJ will start. Kyle has the lane choice. Let's see where he sticks Tackett.
Okay. Good luck, brother.
Oh, well. EJ will start, which means he'll finish this match on the right lane.
All right, here we go. EJ Tackett in an insanely unscripted, unpredictable kind of match ends up surviving against Bill O'Neill. Both players had a chance to lock the other out, and Bill just couldn't quite get it done at the end. And EJ going to be a little patient with the three fans there. As soon as they park him, I think we're going to go.
Well, I love you, Pete Weber, but it's a good thing Pete wasn't up on the approach. He'd have given him a tongue lashing.
And then thrown a strike. And hooks right into the pocket for EJ Tackett to get things started.
has 10 titles on the PBA Tour with 1 major. The 2021 PBA Player of the Year, Kyle Troup.
A beloved figure in the sport, tremendous personality.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of players that said the same thing about Kyle this week. They said, man, he was bowling as good as they've seen him bowling quite some time. He is on point. As we take a look at his arsenal, and it looks like he's going with virtual energy blackout to start.
Okay then, both shots are perfect to get things going as he takes a good long look at that monitor.
Yeah, he's looking over at strike track, the same numbers that you folks at home see on the right side of our screen. He wants to see what the location is, which is 22.8. And this is going to turn into a very deep inside contest for the players. They're going to play very, very deep, and I would expect by the time Belmonte gets to the lanes, as well as Simonsen, we may even see a lot of lofting over the left gutter cap.
Okay, tap 710, at least it's broken up. 710 is gone, the 10-pin remains. This was the final last year, the U.S. Open. You didn't have to remind Kyle of that. We did, of course, but you don't have to. Yeah, how about 48 out of 48 for 10 pins for Kyle?
Yeah, those great stats come to us from our great friends at Lane Talk. For more information, visit lanetalk.com. It's a good stat to have when you're a right-hander, perfect on the 10 pins over 56 games.
Well, he says he's already missed his single pin for the year. Whoa.
Yeah, that was a vicious slinger right there.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I think so, EJ.
Pretty good.
Anytime players have to play this deep on the lanes, power will always reign supreme. You got to cross so many boards, and you got to get the ball back, and then you still have to get it to hit.
Oh, EJ is okay. That was hairy.
See, that's the one where you don't say anything, right? And it's like where you know you've got like a 5-footer for birdie, and you think you shove it, and you say something before the ball actually goes in the hole.
And your partners hate you
and
for it?
Your partner's like, you know what, you're a jerk.
It's never happened to me, Randy, because I can't make a 5-footer. They bowled twice, and Tackett has won twice in match play, including the position round. Wide right, wide right.
Yeah, and it wiggled. You got it too far to the right, as you see by our numbers right here. And the ball just picked up speed and hydroplaned inside a fourth arrow now. Remember, game one, he was just a little bit inside. Good 3 boards left starting game 2.
Oh, well, did everything right, so it seemed, as far as the way he attacked that. So, once again, an early open frame for E.J. Tackett. A much tougher shot, but still an early open frame. So he got away with it once. Can he get away with it twice?
There's Guppy. It was hard to see. He's right behind Kyle right now.
With the glasses, yep, and the pink shirt.
It's always good to see Gup.
Ooh, snap hook, and it's a winner for Troup.
Yeah, check these numbers out, folks. Accuracy. There's Gup. Where's his?
Oh, that's what threw me off. There was somebody with Guppy glasses in front of him. There he is. Growing out the hair a little bit.
Guppy looks like he could have been like an ex-biker.
By the way, I asked him, because we've been talking about this so much, has he ever seen a final like this, a stepladder like this? And he said, no way.
He likes it. That's the way you take advantage of an opening given to you by your opponent. You step up and you go bam, bam, right in your face. And that's a double for Kyle Troup after leaving a 10-pin in the second frame. All you got to do is watch the player's posture.
Yeah, that's one of the easiest things to watch about bowling. If a player doesn't like a shot, he or she will just stand straight up. It's just almost a universal sign of unhappiness with the shot. Like that. Why is he unhappy?
He didn't expect that ball to hold line.
It's a win for fans and a win for football as the USFL and the XFL merger is official. United Football League will begin play March 30th with the USFL champion Birmingham Stallions taking on the XFL champion Arlington Renegades. The United Football League this spring on ABC, ESPN, Fox, and FS1. Spring just got stronger.
I love football.
It's a good sport. So's this. Oh, no. That's going to drop off.
That's got to strike. That one has to strike.
Yeah, that would have been nice, too, especially after the open in the third. EJ working on a strike. He could have doubled up.
For 40 for EJ on that 10-pin this week. There's his parents right there. He's got a lot of folks here. Of course, his wife Natalie is here with their beautiful son, who is probably the most popular person at the center this week, young Tripp.
Excuse me, Dave, 23rd board at the arrows out to the 6th board down lane at the break point. That's covering a lot of territory. 6 pin, second to the right. Up and around the 10. All right. You know, every shot makes somebody happy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that made EJ happy because now he's all right. Well, he didn't. Troup could have increased his lead to 43 if he struck there, and then this next shot coming up on the left lane instead is still just 23.
Well, Kyle had been talking about how he likes his spare shooting so far in the early part of this PBA Tour season, and he is number 5 this week in clean frames. EJ 27th. If you look to the left side of your screen, you saw the tension on Kyle's face when he threw that.
Big miss left, and he pays the price. Loses count because he was on a spare. And it's the first time he's left this all week long. 3, 6, 7, 10.
Fly that 3. Heck yeah!
Wow. How about you? How about you, Indy?
Yeah, I called it. I did too when I walked off.
Was that EJ's mom that just gave him a high 10?
You know what? Kyle is so charismatic. You got to root for him even if you're trying to beat him. Slide it and celebrate after a little bit of relief. Well, naturally, we support all the bowling centers around the United States that support this great game. But this place, 7 times at Royal Pin Woodland, has hosted a U.S. Open. Bolero, North Brunswick. It was a memorable one there, I seem to recall, in 2012. And also our friends in California and MSG in New York. And there's Jimmy Clapper and Terry Powell. This is their house, and they do a staggeringly wonderful job for the players, for the spectators. We've had 2 sold-out days here. You cannot get in here. You cannot get a seat. There were people on our crew who tried to get tickets and could not.
All I know is when I rolled up 5 hours prior to the start of the telecast, they were already lined up outside.
Yep. I got here 3.5 hours ahead of time, and there had to be 100 people waiting outside, and it's 40 degrees. Oh, EJ, don't wait for us, buddy. And again, yeah, just an issue with people who are not getting back to their seats just quite fast enough, but EJ's cool about it. 2-time high average award winner, and I got to believe he's going to be a contender for that this year.
Damn 4 pins, man. God, dog.
I'm as frustrated as he is right now. What's going on?
Well, lanes transition, and if you don't stay ahead of it, even when you make a good shot, the ball's going to creep high. So you got to anticipate that, maybe make a small move, maybe a little slower on that shot by about a half a mile an hour.
Might have stuck a little bit. Let's go back to the 2023 U.S. Open, because Royal Pin Woodland was your host. EJ, instead of being in the number 4 position, was the number 1 seed. And Kyle Troup, face-to-face a year ago. Match was tied after 9. Kyle Troup in the 10th. He strikes, and then his second shot is a big 4. Tackett going for the killer blow. He knows it. 2 strikes for the win, wins the match by 13 pins. 9th player in PBA history to capture the triple crown. Oh, no! And by the way, that was his 3rd career major in 17 PBA.
How much better I can throw it on that lane.
All right, so you've had those feelings when you played. You think you're throwing it like a champion, and the results are not there. How do you get over that?
Well, sometimes you don't. I mean, you just got to keep trying to ace each and every shot. Remember, it's a demanding oil pattern, and even when you do make great shots, you don't always strike. A lot of it has to do with the entry angle of the bowling ball. As it's entering that pocket, the sharper that starts to get, a lot of times you can run into some carry trouble.
You see the max scores. Kyle with the advantage there if he can go off the sheet. That's Brett Spangler, EJ's ball rep. And Kyle had that massive 2021. That's how he did it, right there.
Yeah, that's an ace right there. Look at these numbers.
So you're saying that's consistency?
I'm saying, yeah, that's pretty good. Hey, let's go down to Brett Spangler, the tour rep for EJ Tackett. And Brett, if you can hear Randy, what kind of advice are you giving EJ the next time he steps up in the 8th frame?
You know, what we talked about was kind of dependent on what Kyle does. We may have to make a ball change on the left lane just because he's throwing good shots, and man, it's really close, but it's got to see the lane a little bit different.
All right, thanks, Brett.
Appreciate it, Brett. Thank you so much. By the way, a great follow on social media is Brett. Troup stalking the pins after that re-rack he took. I wonder, Kyle, since he's such a, I'm sorry, Randy, your hair is somewhat different than Kyle's. He's such an emotional player. I wonder what a boost he got from making that very difficult spare.
You won it! He's really good at riding that emotional roller coaster, right? Like,
yeah,
you can see how jacked he gets, but he's also very good at bringing himself back down.
You heard that deep breath right there.
Yeah, you heard it, you saw it.
And EJ Tackett pounding pins, trying to make the comeback.
Has yet to double here in game 2.
One more good one. Come on,
the only chance E.J. Tackett has is he has to strike here in the 9th frame. Down by 31. His max score 214. You can see Troup at 245. Must have.
Boy, perfect. I mean, just crushing the back half there. The 8 and 9 pins exploding.
Yeah, ball goes right between the 8 and the 9 pin. He just splits him in half. And he still has life. But there is zero defense in this sport, as you know, my friend. He has to get some help from Kyle Troup. Not sure that's going to happen.
Troup can win it right here. Jason Belmonte is next. Then Anthony Simonsen. Whoa, pretty shot. Did not get the break.
Well, this is getting very interesting. So we'll give Kyle Troup the spare. If he strikes spares in the 10th, he will shoot 214. That's exactly what E.J. Tackett can shoot if he strikes out.
All right, no trouble at all for Kyle there.
A double and one, and Troup will move on to face the winningest player in major championship history, Jason Belmonte.
Remember Kyle, 10th frame a year ago. Ended up needing a couple of strikes and big forward on the 2nd after a strike in the 1st. I doubt he's thinking about it now. But it was a bad, bad memory. He can erase it or at least shove it way down the gutter right here.
My goodness.
Well, EJ, you got a shot.
Last time up on this left lane, Kyle Troup did make a move. He moved a couple of boards left. But this time, gets it inside the target.
Half the big four. And this ends up being a really big shot here.
Well, if he strikes, Tackett would need a double and 9.
All right, better shot than that. Let's go. Should already have this game won.
Remember in match number 1, Tackett was left for dead. And then 2 5-1 frames for Bill O'Neill. And Tackett ends up winning by 3 pins. Just 3.
Absolutely perfect shot by Kyle Troup, and he's thrown it right back at E.J. Tackett, and let's see what the defending champion can do.
Well, with the exception of the 6th frame and that first ball in the 10th, Kyle Troup threw some great shots for 212.
Tackett has a chance for the 2nd straight game to overcome an early open frame. Shot the second it left his hand. There's one. He needs another one. Has to have it. See his father there in the distance. He can't look. Now he peeks up. But he is having a hard time right now, his dad. Gotta go. It's wide right. Kyle Troup has knocked out the defending champion. Last year's final has been avenged.
Just a bad shot by E.J. Tackett, your reigning player of the year. He just whipped it and threw it dead right. And he knows it. Disappointing way to finish when he had a chance to beat Kyle Troup.
Well, this day has been nothing but unpredictable. And now you've got Jason Belmonte, the #2 seed, against Kyle Troup. And then Anthony Simonsen meets the winner. We are down to 3. All of them, well, of course, they're all major champions on this show. But the biggest major winner of all time is also trying for an unprecedented second Super Slam. No one's ever done what Belmo's done in this sport, and he's trying to add to his legacy. He's got to take on Kyle Troup next. Shall we? We must bring you our flashback. Go bowling. Pete Weber winning the 2012 U.S. Open, one of the most memorable moments in sports history that gets revisited every year nationally. 69th U.S. Open. He beats Mike Fagan by 1 for his 5th career U.S. Open title. He still has the most of any bowler in history.
Yeah, who do you think you are? I am. And when it came to U.S. Opens, Pete Weber knew how to win those.
And by the way, his name is on the board here as we take a look at some upcoming PBA events. The PBA Illinois Classic, Saturday night at 8 Eastern on FS1. Then the PDW Missouri Classic, that's what I'm going to call it. Sunday, February the 18th at 1. Saturday, the Pilgrims PBA Indiana Classic, and then off to Delaware, that wonderful place there in early March, Mid-County Lanes and Entertainment in Middletown. Great, great house. Love those people there. And that'll be also on FS1.
Well, listen, through 2 matches, our high game is 212. Jason Belmonte's coming up. He's got as many major victories as Tiger Woods. And then you've got Simonsen, the tournament leader, who absolutely dominated this event. It's going to take more than 212 to get past either Belmonte or Simonsen to win this thing.
And you know what? We've also seen some really good players have a hard time closing at the end.
Yeah, a lot of open frames, some bad shots being thrown in crucial moments. Again, you got the heavy hitters coming up right now. Well, we've had heavy hitters throughout the telecast, but Belmonte knows how to win majors, and Simonsen knows how to win majors. And these guys are positioned to do exactly what they do best, and that's win the big ones.
That leads us to our edition of Pressing Questions, brought to you by Go Bowling with Kimberly Pressler. And the subject this week, it's not your first U.S. Open, it's not my first U.S. Open, but what about you all out there on the bowling lanes?
Packy, how was your first experience ever at a U.S. Open?
Ooh, intimidating? Yeah, intimidating.
Is there anything that you took away from your first experience at a U.S. Open?
Share your spares.
My first ever U.S. Open was in 2005, and it was at Carolier Lanes in New Jersey. And I bowled as an amateur, and I finished 6th. And it was like the coolest experience of my life to have all my family and friends and everybody rooting for me, and just missed the show, and it was awesome. I'll never forget it.
Graham, do you remember your first ever U.S. Open experience?
I do vaguely. It did not go well. It was scary.
How was the experience for you for your first ever U.S. Open?
First one was the best one.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
So I made the cut. So that's my most memorable U.S. Open moment so far. And I'm also on a 7-year missing the cut streak. So this is my year.
Kevin, do you recall your first ever U.S. Open, and how was that experience?
I don't recall it because it was probably so bad I don't want to recall it. So no, don't have a clue. It was awful probably. I sucked.
EJ, you are the defending U.S. Open champion, but do you recall your first ever U.S. Open experience?
I do. 2010, I believe, was the first time I ever bowled the U.S. Open. It was in Indianapolis. Yeah, I really had no idea what I was doing. Junior in high school, I was there just trying to compete against the best players in the world, starstruck. I was in the cash number with 1 round to go and barely missed. The following year, in 2011, I actually finished 20th as a senior in high school. So my experience at the U.S. Open has been pretty decent over the course of my career and my life. And winning last year was it's so cool for it to come full circle and to win in Indianapolis where I bowled my first U.S. Open.
Thank you, Kimberly, very much, and thanks to all the players. But now that man, he has several U.S. Opens, most recently 2020. Jason Belmonte and Kyle Troup are coming at you right now. The U.S. Open, presented by Go Bowling. And we are back look inside the 2024 U.S. Open presented by Go Bowling here at Royal Pin Woodland. Incredible crowd, sold-out events this weekend, and Kimberly Pressler is standing by with Jason Belmonte.
Thanks, Dave. So 4 years ago, you had won the U.S. Open and your first Super Slam. Today, you have a chance at making history, earning a second Super Slam. How do you get that done?
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, Kimberly. The lanes are not, they're not lovely. So you're going to have to make a lot of good shots. And look, Kyle is a momentum player. So the idea is you just don't give him an opportunity. Once he gets a little momentum and he starts picking it out, he gets a little harder to beat. So we've got to keep that pick in his pocket for a while.
All right, good luck to you.
Yeah, it's easier said than done some days, Belmo. We take a look at number 2 versus number 3. Belmonte became the second player in PBA history to win that Super Slam. Mike Albee, whom we happened to see last night, was the first.
Yeah, we saw him at a dinner last night. You and I had dinner with a couple of friends. George Branham III joined us.
A bowling legend.
Yeah. George lives here in Indianapolis. It was great to see Georgie again.
5-time titleist.
Grew up with George, you know, back in Southern California. Roomed with George for many years on tour, so it was great to see Georgie. But yeah, also the great Mike Albee as well.
And I love what Belmo said about Kyle Troup. I concur 1,000% about Kyle being a momentum guy.
The all-time PBA Tour major title king with 15, the 2020 U.S. Open champion, and 7-time PBA Player of the Year, Jason Belmonte.
Yeah, 15 majors, 31 titles. I mean,
he's there when it counts.
Almost half of his titles are majors.
Well, it will be if he pulls it off today. It will be 50%. Ooh, no. It's a quiet 10 for Belmo.
Well, that's something you don't see very often from two-handers, especially Jason Belmonte with a high rev rate, the flat 10. The 6-pin goes to the sidewall and just kind of lays there dead.
Uh-oh. Well, waiting around for his turn to bowl, waiting through a couple of games, and Belmo with an uncharacteristic gaff. Really not even that close.
Well, he struggled with the approaches all week long, and he's missed a ton of spares this week and still managed to qualify second. As we take a look at his arsenal.
Put the single pin miss in your brains. Well, I'm not going to see it again.
And getting back to his arsenal, he's using the IQ Tour. It's funny how we talked about Kyle's first match, right, where he left the 10-pin, he made it. He's been perfect all week on his 10 pins, and then Belmonte gets up and whiffs a 10-pin.
Robin Williams once said, irony can be very ironic.
I have no idea what that means.
I think it's pretty deep.
Bam. And speaking of deep, that was pretty deep in the pocket. Deep on the lane. You can see he's approaching fifth arrow. 24.7. Watch this. That looked like it went right over fifth arrow. 7 arrows on the lane. He still has some room.
Picking it out.
Oh, that hair, that's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, if Kyle ever wants to go incognito, he just doesn't blow up the hair. He just lets it go flat, and he can go anywhere.
Yep.
Nobody, you know, once he blows it up, though, forget about it.
Can't walk through the airport looking like this. He will get mobbed. Maybe.
No, that's going to spin away, unfortunately.
That was like almost one of them over there. She about came way back.
Yeah, look at it right there coming back from that fourth board. As you see the break point board, 4.1, it still gets back to the pocket. He's moved a couple more boards left from the last game, and look at that thing get back.
All right, so Belmonte, who missed the 10-pin in the first frame on this lane, then came back and struck in the second. See his record for this week. That sounded terrible.
4-6, 7-10, the big four.
And a big four for Belmo.
And it looked left all the way. Right through the nose, pays for big four. Only made once on television on the PBA Tour. That was way back when by Walter Ray Williams Jr. just outside of Atlanta.
So he takes his meds.
Okay.
That's a sour taste for Belmo.
Okay.
Pressures of the U.S. Open.
They can get even to the best. But look what he does when it's time to recover. That's astonishing, 61%. And that's the difference between a great player and a guy who scuffles, is you can break bad momentum. Like that.
Remember last shot on the left lane where Kyle got it out to the fourth board down lane and still got it back to the pocket? That was an arrow inside of where Kyle's ball got back from.
Hey, registration for the 2024 PBA LBC National Championships is now open to bowlers of all skill levels and from all centers. The PBA LBC National Championships is heading to a new location outside Chicago and includes 2 new junior divisions. You can compete in singles and optional doubles and team events. Even combine your scores with the pros. Enter today at pba.com/LBC tournament. So pumped up.
Yeah, big double there. It increases the lead to 44. All right, let's head down to the floor and talk to tour rep for both Jason Belmonte and Kyle Troup. Tim Mack, Hall of Famer, what is happening with Belmonte and what does he need to do to get back in this?
Yeah, listen, he's got to get the ball to the right, on the right lane. And if he gets it to the right in the right lane, he should be fine. But he's obviously struggling a little bit on the right lane. Left lane's been pretty easy for him. So if you don't figure out the right lane in a hurry, he's going to be in trouble. Kyle's got great ball reaction, real comfortable. And like Jason said, if he lets Kyle get the momentum, it's going to be a problem. And Kyle has the momentum right now.
Well, he got both shot, or 2 out of 3 shots right on that right landing, flat 10 both times.
Yeah, it's probably a ball change after commercial here. We'll see what we discuss in commercial. We'll see what happens.
Thank you.
Belmo, a little sarcastic verbal pat on the back there after he made that 10-pin. He's in a hole partly of his own doing.
So we're going to have to take it.
Partly because of Kyle Troup. And you see he's never lost to him when the hot lights are on. Well, he's 3 for 3 on that lane. but it's the right lane that's been his nemesis. You know what? So is Kyle Troup. Kyle Troup does have the momentum. He is bowling beautifully in search of his first U.S. Open title. He's getting closer. So close, he can pick it out. And the PBA is proud to have Bowlers to Veterans Link as the official charity of the PBA Tour. In today's BVL Salute to Veterans, we welcome U.S. Navy E-5 Petty Officer Second Class Randy Parkhurst, who served for 5 years. Randy, thank you for your service. All right, well, Randy was eavesdropping on Jason Belmonte's conversation with Tim Mack. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, Kyle Troup is up. We did see one big comeback earlier today by E.J. Tackett over Bill O'Neill. Ooh, a snap left and a 3-6-10 now for Kyle.
Miss left. Right here, you can see that number at the break point. Looked a little slower as well.
Don't chop it. All right. Dangerous.
You have to pay the 3-6-10 respect on any pattern. And it, you know, most players use a plastic ball dead straight at the 3-6, and the ball, you know, kind of takes care of all 3 pins, but you still have to pay that leave respect. Very easy to miss, very easy to chop. Kyle converts perfectly.
Kyle, 10 titles and that one major. His first title going all the way back to 2015. Won the PBA Tour Finals last year in the state of Washington. Ooh, that's the problem E.J. Tackett had a few times with some 4 pins.
Remember the last shot he threw on that left lane where he got it to the 4th board to the right? This time it's a good 4.5 inside of that, and he only leaves the 4-pin, which tells me that he's got a little bit of wiggle room. He's got some room to the right, he's got some room to the left. And it's also the same lane that Jason Belmonte struck every time on.
All right, let's go back. You eavesdropped on the conversation between Tim and Jason. What did you get out of that?
What I got was there's going to be a ball change on the right lane, and sure enough, he's going to a different piece of equipment.
7-time Chris Schenkel PBA Player of the Year, tied with Walter for the most all-time.
He's actually going to a virtual energy blackout, as you can see right there. Unreal.
2-4-8-10. The right lane is not working for Jason.
I liked it.
It's a good one.
I thought it was going to come.
It was good.
You know, they talked about the ball change and also Jason moving farther left.
Yes.
Because it's a stronger ball. And that ball never came around the corner. 2-4-8-10. Turns around and looks at Tour Rep Tim Mack.
Oh my. Oh my.
All but over now. Kyle Troup's going to bowl for the title once again. Back-to-back years, Kyle Troup's going to have a shot at winning the U.S. Open. This time it's going to be against Anthony Simonsen.
We want to take a moment to acknowledge our colleague John Fanta, who had a death in his family a few days ago. John, we are all thinking about you and wish you and your family all of our condolences. And we certainly understand losing a loved one like that is a very difficult experience, but we wish you the best. We're thinking of you.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers go out to you, John, and your entire family.
Yep, Kyle Troup's moving on. Last year it was E.J. Tackett who beat him in the finals. This year he's going to get a shot at Anthony Simonsen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm literally shocked with this performance. And I mean, I know that it's difficult, you know, when you're coming on You're fresh. You don't really know exactly what the lanes are doing. Yes, you do get some practice, but it's not like Kyle Troup. He's got a game under his belt. He knows exactly what his ball's going to do. He makes the moves. He knows if he moves in, he'll find a little oil. He knows how far right he can throw it. But Belmonte's execution and shot making has not been at a premium in this game.
And Kyle Troup, on the other hand, has never looked better today. This is his best game by far. It would have been hard for Belmonte to beat him even if Jason was on form.
And it could be the highest game we've had on the telecast today. Remember, that's standing at 212. Tackett had 212 against O'Neill in our first match, and then last game, Troup 212 to Tackett's 200.
Bam, look at that. Nothing on the deck to clean up. There it is, pick it out. This is the Just Right Strike, brought to you by Just Bear, the mindful choice for high-quality protein with no antibiotics ever. Just right, just Bear, just picked.
Just a solid game, but he was never tested, never pushed.
I can still move my eyes in.
Yeah, an oddly flat game for Jason in a major championship step ladder. But Kyle Troup, again, was going to be a tough act any way you look at.
I mean, he can strike out for 177. It's like beyond flat.
Yeah, and that left lane had been his buddy, and even that's turned its back on him now.
And Kyle Troup's making the old pattern look pretty nice. And
did he mess up Belmonte? Let me interrupt you. Did Kyle mess up Belmonte's look at all?
No, in fact, if anything, I thought it would have helped Jason, because I think Jason has a stronger, more powerful bowling ball, more revs. He could have moved left of Kyle Troup and created turbulence for Kyle. He would have been left of him, right? And he would have had a pretty much fresh part of the lane to himself and then start shaping it kind of like Kyle was doing. But it just never materialized. You know, the flat 10's on the right lane. He gets it up the lane. It goes through the nose. Here's another ball change. See, and I thought he would have tried to shape it a little bit more like that shot. And again, it's so easy when you're sitting back here watching it.
Of course.
You step up on the lanes and you have to go with a decision and you have to be committed to it. It was the wrong decision.
And then there were two. The #1 seed, Anthony Simonsen, taking on Kyle Troup. Kyle Troup looking for his first U.S. Open title. All he has to do is beat the human toolbox, the Swiss Army knife for professional bowling, and maybe the best in the world, Anthony Simonsen. Next, Fox. The PBA on Fox is sponsored by Bolero, the #1 place to bowl, party, and play with over 340 locations nationwide. Head to Bolero.com today to find a center near you. And by Go Bowling. For friends and family fun, log on to GoBowling.com to find a center near you. And the biggest day in racing just got bigger as Grand Marshal Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson will kick off the Daytona 500. The Great American Race returns February 18th only on Fox. Well, here he is. What will he do? What can he do? The answer to that's everything, Randy. Anthony Simonsen stepping up now with a chance to pick up another major championship. Most recently, the USBC Masters in 2023. What is he looking at as he looks down the lane?
Well, I think what he's looking at is going to be very interesting. It looks like he's playing way right on this hole pattern. And, you know, Anthony is a very creative guy. This guy, he's a savant when it comes to this sport. Swiss Army knife, as I like to call him. He can do anything. And he was looking at a part of the lane that we haven't seen any player play today.
That might even be a little firmer than I wanted to.
Rob Gottschall with Storm standing there with Simonsen. We're ready to roll, man. Can Kyle Troup break through as a U.S. Open champion and get a second major and further enhance his Hall of Fame chances, case, resume? Or is that man, Anthony Simonsen, going to remain #1?
A phenom waiting at the end of the line. Two great champions who thrive under these pressure moments. A confrontation with bowling's greatest test. This is a final act worth the price of admission. The 2024 PBA US Open Finals starts now on Fox.
Well, it's tension time now. That trophy right there in the foreground is going to be held by one of these men. Will it be Anthony Simonsen again, or will it be Kyle Troup for the first time in the U.S. Open? Will he double his major total to 2? And some interesting strategy, of course, from Simonsen apparently is planned here. And we'll get to that right after Kyle's opening shot. Simonsen with the higher seed is going to start Kyle on the left lane. This is going to be an uninterrupted final. Continues on the positive side for Kyle Troup.
A 13-time PBA champion with 5 majors, the 2022 U.S. Open champion, Anthony Simonsen.
Say this about Anthony Simonsen: there's never a dull moment.
Look where he's playing. Wow.
And look out. That is a bizarre combination. 4-8-10.
Playing right of second arrow with reactive ball. We have not seen the entire day.
We'll rule out him making this. Here's the tail of the tape with these two super talents. Good buddies too, 5 years age difference. Obviously same with pros, titles belong to Simonsen and the majors belong to Simonsen as well. All right, so we got a little equipment issue here, Anthony. Anthony, it's the second time I called you a player's name today, Randy.
You can call me whatever you want. Oh my goodness.
Boy.
Yeah, so Simonsen using a gem on the right lane and an idle on the left lane. On the PBA Tour, this bowling ball here is not approved, but this is a USBC event, and therefore it is legal.
So can he slide the 4 over? No, and so back-to-back open frames for the number 1 seed to start this match after Kyle Troup opened with a solid strike.
And the reason for the ball not being approved on the PBA Tours is that ball was been manufactured over 2 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, there have been some adjustments over the last year or two in equipment news and noise. Double. And Kyle Troup, this is a Sunday stroll for him right now.
I mean, this is starting to take the same kind of shape, isn't it? Who would have thought that Jason Belmonte, winner of 15 majors, would shoot 157? I get it. They're hard. It is the U.S. Open. I understand that. But you would never in your life would think that Jason would shoot 157, and then no. Simonsen steps up and goes back-to-back open frames to start the title match.
Kyle has very close friends here, in addition to his dad. Bang! You could call that 5 feet before it hit the pins. Along with Kimberly Pressler, I'm Dave Lamont, and the man celebrating his silver anniversary as the signature voice of the PBA, Randy Peterson, is here. Congratulations on that 25th, my friend.
Thank you.
Honored
Thank you,
to
Dave.
have been a small part of that.
Well, yeah, it's been an honor to work with great people like yourself over the years. It's just been truly an honor.
There you go. Simonsen kick save and a beauty on the 10-pin.
Six-pin sidewall, snaps the 10 out. It's exactly what Simonsen needs. He needs a lot more of those to get back into this, and it's only through 3 frames. There's his match play record, 18-6. But I mean, he completely dominated this event.
And suddenly he's found the right way to do it.
Since round 3, he never relinquished the #1 spot. Just right a second arrow.
All right. So he gave away a couple of frames. The problem is the guy he's bowling isn't giving anything out right now. This guy is the Grinch. Not quite Grinch green there, but I'm sure he's got that in the closet somewhere. Well, even that shot was near perfect for Kyle. He just got a terrible break.
Good shot, bad break, 6-pin around the 10. Remember, Kyle has not missed a 10-pin the entire tournament. And this being his 60th game.
That's right. Well, he told us again, for those of you who missed it earlier, he missed a single pin early in the year. I think it was at Wichita. He said, I'm done with it now. That's my miss for the year. Those were his words. My miss for the year. Got it out of the way.
So I'm being told that he had a shot clock violation on his first shot.
Mm-hmm. But this being a USBC event, the rule on that is different. It is just like, okay, buddy, give us some money. It's going to come out of your check. There's no deduction for any other rule problems. The PBA is different, and then Messenger dropping off right before contact. Now, what would the PBA punishment be?
So it's a warning, and then after warning, your second violation is 0. It's almost like a foul. You get 0 for the shot. I think it's a great rule. It's a lot more penal, right? I mean, guys can just, stroke a couple $100 here and there for some shot clock violations, and now you can't do that.
No, I think it's a fantastic idea. The winner of this, by the way, is going to get $100,000. And if it's Kyle, that's going to be a very small bite on his wallet. But do you know what? There's no guarantee it's Kyle. Very little difference now between these two after those 2 9 spares. Simonsen. Right. Oh my, the look on his face. He knows he didn't get the payout.
I would have liked him to have gotten away with that one.
Well, another ring and 10. That's 3 in a row for both players. But now the other one for Kyle was a messenger. All right, I get that. But, I think that shot there was good enough to strike for Simo. And when he throws it there, it needs to strike. And you heard him say, I thought I got away with that one. 31, halfway through the title match.
In the background, you saw Kyle most likely communicating with his ball rep. A couple of hand signals. That's a pretty shot, yes.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Come on. Pretty good there. Look at the breakpoint board and the position of the arrows. Just a half an inch right, a second arrow, and he's piping it. Again, an area of the lane. We haven't seen any player attempt. Everybody's been kind of shaping it, arcing it. And Kyle's been doing it the best thus far today.
Quick reminder, this match is going without any commercial interruption. And Kyle Troup just continues to split pins.
And the fans here in Indy loving it. This center just so iconic. The only center in the history of the PBA Tour to host all 5 majors.
You won here?
I won here in '99. You know, there's so many great people over the years. The late, great Jim Doty was responsible for so much of what went on here. And the fans, just absolutely fantastic. We always look forward to coming to Indy.
Sellouts both days. People were standing outside 3.5, 4 hours waiting to get in today for this show in 40-degree temperatures, which for them is probably very like shorts and t-shirt weather. Great look at that. Another perfect throw for Kyle Troup.
You know, we talked about Kyle finishing runner-up last year to E.J. Tackett. His father was the runner-up to Mark Roth in 1984 at the U.S. Open. Kyle would like to kind of undo that.
If this works out, maybe he'll give Dad a few minutes with the trophy. I bet he does. He's tight with his dad. He's a great guy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'd like to say, oh, no, and then have that happen.
You listen to some of the players this week when talking about Anthony Simonsen, and they're like, you know, he just does things that nobody else can do with a bowling ball. And it's incredible parts of the lane that he can play. He can throw it straight. He can throw it sideways. He can shape it. He can change his axis rotation. He can change his ball roll. He can change his tilt speeds.
He can also throw pretty mean backup balls. Messenger goes underneath.
Well, with the exception of frame 1, he got unlucky in frame 2, leaving both the 4 and the 9.
Uh-oh.
And then a 10-pin in the 5th, and then that.
Kyle Troup's heart rate probably just jumped about 5%. To bring it down to stay cool.
It's like having 5 out of 6 winning lottery numbers and then realizing you looked at the ticket wrong. You got all 6.
Let me know when that happens, would you? And he continues to dominate.
That's how you do it. 54-pin lead, 2 frames to go, all but over. Kyle Troup looking for his 2nd major and 11th win on the tour. There's his dad.
He knows.
It's all but over.
Kyle's fiance is here. They were just engaged within the last 2 months on a cruise. Her children are here. In fact, if you've seen the shot of the adorable young lady with a Troup wig, that's one of Kyle's fiance's daughters. He's got a few folks here, but Guppy is the proud man right now.
Come on!
Everyone around here doing the math. Don't squash the throw, Kyle.
Well, Kyle, if he doesn't convert, still going to be in the 220s with 1 frame to go. It's all but mathematically over. Simonsen's max score is 204.
And, all right, open frame for Troup, but I guess if you're going to get away with one, this is the time to do it. As you can see, he's going to need 2. I like his chances.
2 pins to win in the 10th frame is all Kyle Troup needs. That's if Simonsen strikes out.
Take a look right there. That's all you need to see.
It's over.
Yeah, it's been over. Kyle knows it. Simonsen knows it. This crowd knows it.
What a performance by Kyle Troup. Just hung in there, made shot after shot, grinded his rear end off, and earned a U.S. Open.
Well, the best part about this is he's going to get a 10th frame victory lap to get his pins. The satisfying moment of the match is sponsored by Snickers. Nothing. I'm getting choked up. Nothing satisfies like a Snickers.
Well, I remember the story about when Guppy would take Kyle to the bowling centers when he was little, and Kyle walking around bumming quarters off of all of Guppy's friends to play video games. And that's how it all started. Guppy's been there every step of the way through this brilliant journey with his son, Kyle.
And the step he will never forget is this one that his son took here today. Title number 11, major number 2, U.S. Open number 1 for Kyle Troup. Going to get the victory lap he deserves. 56 games of exhausting qualifying on 4 different patterns. He had to beat Jason Belmonte. He had to beat E.J. Tackett before Belmonte, and now he's defeated Anthony Simonsen. A murderer's row on perhaps the greatest step ladder in the history of the sport. And at the top of that ladder will be Kyle Troup.
I've always felt that the U.S. Open was the hardest tournament to ever win on the PBA Tour. Oil patterns, amount of games, the field. Just brutally, brutally tough. And when you win a U.S. Open, man, does it feel good.
Love you too, brother. Everybody.
It's always fun against you, man. You know that. Love you, pal.
A week's worth of grinding and grinding and grinding.
Thank you all so much. Congratulations. Thank you.
Well, Kyle, remember you've seen those highlights of other people picking up the U.S. Open trophy? Now you get to be the highlight.
We did it, girl.
Incredible field, some crazy shots thrown, some scores I never thought I would have seen. But Kyle Troup was able to keep it together.
And now for the presentation of the trophy of the check and the green jacket. Here is Kimberly with our champion, Kyle Troup.
Kyle, you waited a long time for this, but let's start with that jacket right there. Jay Dairyman, USBC Board of Directors, please do the honors.
Kyle, congratulations. On behalf of USBC and the BPA, congratulations. Good ball.
And then we have Jimmy Clapper, the General Manager of the Royal Pin Entertainment, with your trophy. And then we have one more, Frank DeSocio, the Executive Director of the BPAA, with that check. I know you're going to want that right there. Kyle, whew, what a few matches this was. Let's talk about the fact that you have green on. Did you put this to an existence? Put it in the universe out there that you wanted this U.S. Open win?
I sure did, Kimberly. I'm a firm believer in speaking things into existence. I believe I wore this outfit on practice day, and I said I was going to wear green for Sunday to get my green jacket. And, you know, it's hard to believe, but I know I bowled very well today, and, you know, feel like one of my reps, he told me, take what you want. You know, the winners, they take what they want, and the losers, they wait for it. So thank you, Jim. We took what we wanted today.
You absolutely did, and you bowled very well, just like you said. But at any point, did you feel like you were actually being tested? Because you made it look almost easy out there.
I didn't quite catch your whole question, but I felt confident. I felt like I was seeing the picture from the first shot of the first match. My reps, my storm team here, you know, I was kind of committed to the thing, but, you know, the lanes were a little tricky, I guess, and they were like, hey, you're going to hook it. And I'm like, all right, you know, we make good decisions, and we trust in one another. And, I kept telling myself, quiet mind, quiet body, slow feet, just like that.
And that seemed to work out for you. But let's talk about the fact that this crowd is super excited that you walk away with this U.S. Open. And then your dad, Guppy, over there. I saw him over there crying. What's it mean to you to win in front of your dad and your new fiance? Congratulations on that.
To win in front of Guppy is a blessing every time. This also means I did something else that he didn't do. He did finish second to Mark Roth in the U.S. Open in '84, but we got an eagle coming home now. And Brianna, Caleb, Aubrey, I love you guys. Some other friends here, Daryl, Lynn, Mike, Liz. This is amazing. And then the fans of Indy, I love you guys.
And one final question, Kyle. How's it sound? You are a U.S. Open winner.
That sounds amazing, Kimberly. One last thing, I've got to thank my sponsors, Storm, Bowlify, Vice, Raise Eyewear, Lane Talk, Bowler X, all you guys. We do this for one another. Thank y'all.
Nicest guy in bowling yet!
Congratulations, 2024 U.S. Open winner, Kyle Troup.
And Kimberly, thank you very much. No way you can't feel nothing but joy here, Randy.
Yeah, I mean, he handled it with such class at the end, and he says all the right things, but you know what? He bowled great today.
Heck yeah. He didn't seem to have any of the problems that anybody else had. He fought right through it.
He earned it.
Yeah, 100%. He took advantage of the mistakes that were left on the deck by others and plowed right through them. Our 2024 PBA Tour coverage continues Saturday night live at 8 Eastern on FS1. It's the PBA Illinois Classic from Bolero, Mount Prospect, and Mount Prospect, Illinois. I want to thank our crew. It is the best in the business, period. And what a treat to be around these incredible people. For Randy Peterson, I love you, man. Kimberly Pressler and our entire crew, I'm Dave Lamont. You have been watching Kyle Troup win the U.S. Open, the PBA on Fox.